Okay, so what is going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. Now, in today's video, guys, as I said, I promised that I would make a ranking on the Friday the 13th films because I tried to make one when I was a lot younger, when my channel first started, and it, for some reason, was like all black, and I deleted it. And I didn't know much about Jason at the time, so I'm going to be making an official ranking of the worst to best, and I have a little list here to just remind me of everything. So the Friday the 13th films would definitely be my second favorite horror franchise. My third would be the Nightmare on Elm Street. And the reason why I'm not doing Nightmare on Elm Street yet is just because I just don't know enough about it. But I did like it a lot. And the Scream films, hopefully I'll do them pretty soon. And also, I will be doing a re-ranking once I see the new Halloween movie, which I will see next week when it comes out on October 19th. So I'll probably make a re-ranking on that, but I won't delete my old video because it had a lot of views, and I thought it was pretty good. It was my first video. I loved it. So yeah, I'm going to be making a ranking on the worst to best Friday the 13th films, and as you know, my channel is for horror. And I know I do a lot of variety of videos, and you guys are probably like, then why is your name horror? So I just decided to stick with this horror stuff for a little bit. Plus, there has been a lot of good movies coming out in 2018 that I'm really excited to see. I'm actually going to see the Goosebumps 2 movie today because I'm a Goosebumps fan. So at number 12, there's 12 films. This will be counting the remake and, yeah, all the. So sorry about that. And the Freddy vs. Jason, this will also count that too. So number 12 is going to be the first one. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people are going to hate me, and that's okay. I personally respect that because I do understand that. A lot of people really like the first one. And usually I like the originals of horror films. Like I love the original Halloween film. Nightmare on Elm Street original film was great too because they were just original. But in this one, I didn't like the Mama Voorhees because she just didn't play good like a horror character. She kind of reminded me of the old 1960s movie Psycho. Kind of reminded me of that, but I just didn't like the Mom Voorhees as the killer, and I just think Jason is more of the iconic one, and I just liked him a lot more. That's the main reason I didn't like this film, and I didn't enjoy it either. There were some okay kills in this one, but otherwise I didn't care much for the first one. I watched it, and I just didn't like it that much. I think Mama Voorhees just wasn't good. But the backstory is really nice when you first get to see it. But I think that we can all agree that Jason was just, it was way better than Mama Voorhees personally. And I like when Mama Voorhees always, tells Jason to kill them and everything. But seeing her as a killer, it doesn't make me really interested. So I'm not going to talk anymore about the first film. But number 11 is going to be the remake. So the reason why I don't like the remake, and usually I don't like remakes because they get some terrible director who makes the film like really bad. Like in Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy he wasn't that funny on the remake Nightmare on Elm Street. He just wasn't that funny. He looked pretty bad. The remakes with Rob Zombie were just way too brutal. I mean, I'm talking like blood, like everything. Dialogue was just every 5 seconds you would hear a bad word. But the reason why I didn't like the remake was not because it was too brutal, but the characters just really sucked. And the backstory behind this one really sucked too. It wasn't about, the people came to Crystal Lake, but the backstory was a little different with the guy who lost his sister and he kept asking everybody for help. I just didn't like this one at all. Because the characters just really sucked. And there's smart characters in each film, but this one, there really wasn't any smart characters at all. Yeah, there was the one girl and the guy, and that was pretty much it. But there wasn't that much smart characters. They were all really dumb, and they played pretty bad. I can admit that 2009, teenagers were pretty crazy. They were a lot more crazy than the 1980s. But this one, just the characters sucked. Jason looked really nice. I'm talking, he was pretty tall. His hair was long. Jason didn't look too bad. I mean, I think Jason did some pretty cool kills, but the characters just sucked. That's why I didn't like this one. Number 10 is going to be part 8. So part 8, I believe, was, Jason Goes to Manhattan, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, Michael Myers, walking around in the neighborhood, like, as you saw in Halloween 2018, and he did it in other ones, like, he walked around town. That wasn't so bad. I can understand why, people probably just thought he was a scary guy in a costume. But Jason walking around in Manhattan with, like, a wetsuit, a hockey mask, just doesn't make sense for me. And Manhattan's a pretty busy city, so I don't get this one at all. Especially the part, like, the fact that he's going into Manhattan. But I can say Jason did look pretty buff in this one. He looked pretty good. But just Jason in Manhattan. Number 9 is going to be Freddy versus Jason. So, Freddy versus Jason wasn't a very good clash. And I think they should have done something else. Like, they should have done, like, Freddy versus Pinhead. I think that would be a lot better. And then, like, Jason versus Michael Myers, I think would be okay. But Freddy Krueger versus Jason didn't make sense to me at all. Like, why? Why make this one? And the thing is about Jason in this one is he wasn't talked about a lot in the movie. But the sad thing is that we're talking about Jason here, but Freddy only got 1 kill in this movie. Like, 1 kill. That really disappoints me. And Jason got the rest. But the thing is that Freddy was appointed the most. He was just throwing one-liners at Jason. And I think that if he was going to throw one-liners at someone, it would be pretty good with, like, Ghostface or something. I'm not saying they would put it together as a film, because obviously Freddy Krueger would definitely win that match. But I think a better person he could throw one-liners at is Ghostface, because they both are, like, one-liner people. They both, they make funny jokes, and, they're both talkers. They're really talkative. But just Freddy throwing liners at Jason just doesn't make sense to me. And it was a terrible clash up. And then you learn in this one, Jason has a weakness to water, which I don't like that at all. And the person who killed Freddy in this one was a human. It wasn't even Jason. I would have thought Jason should have killed Freddy in this one, but nope, he didn't. And then they just pushed Jason into the water. Jason didn't look bad in this one, but it doesn't make sense to me that they would clash these two together. So I didn't like Freddy versus Jason that much. But I like on the Fear Fests, like each Halloween, before Halloween they put on horror films. I usually like watching this film, but otherwise, not a very good mashup. Number 8 is going to be part 4. Now, the reason for that I don't like part 4 that much is because this Jason, to me, was just a lot weaker. At the ending, he got outsmarted by a 12-year-old. And we're used to seeing Jason normally just die at the end of each film. But in this one, he got outsmarted by a 12-year-old who then chopped him to bits. That's why I think that this Jason was just a lot weaker, because he got outsmarted. And yeah, I just felt like the Jason in this one was a lot weaker. And especially that ending. Like, little things in the movie can make me not like it. And that little thing, this Jason was just a lot weaker. That's why I didn't like part 4. It was enjoyable to watch, but Jason in this one was just a lot weaker. I can remember some of the kills, but the kills were just not memorable. They weren't really good Jason kills, I would say. The kills weren't very memorable. But number 7 is part 2. Now, part 2, this Jason wasn't as scary as the other Jasons. Like, the remake Jason was pretty scary. He wasn't as scary as the other Jasons. But I can say that the iconic bag Jason, where he instead of wearing a hockey mask, he wears a bag over him. That's pretty iconic, and I actually like the bag mask. I think it looks really cool. There's a little hole in it. He's got a pickaxe. I think that Jason, he just looks really iconic to me. But then the hockey mask was just as you think, Jason. But part 2, I really liked the mask. I thought it was really iconic. It's been a while since I've watched this movie, but there's scenes that I definitely remember. They were pretty good. But part 2, Jason was pretty iconic. Just wasn't as scary as the other Jasons, and yeah, he just wasn't very scary in this one. Number 6 is going to be part 3, and in part 3, you finally get the hockey mask that we all like today on the films. So yeah, in part 3, we finally get the Jason hockey mask, and he had some pretty good kills in this one. I liked when he shot the one girl with the harpoon gun, I believe. He used that really hot iron and put it through the one girl's stomach. But this one was really slow paced. It was just too long and too slow paced. Like, you kept having the one guy just make fake deaths, and you're like, oh, is he actually dead this time? Because he pranked the one girl like 3 times, and then you finally knew that he was dead on like the 4th death. Yeah, this one was just too slow paced. But Jason looked really nice in this one. He got stabbed in the head with the axe. I think he was a lot durable. But he was definitely still human in this one. When he took off the mask, his face is always distorted. But I think this is the one where he started. He was still a human. Not much of a zombie yet. I think in part 7 or part 6 was probably when he started to become a zombie, because you could see the back of his head was just all black and everything, and like part 7, part of his mask was just cut off and like his teeth were showing, and in part 8 you could definitely tell he was a zombie because like his mask was just carved up. But this one, he was still definitely human, but he was that possessed Jason who still had the healing factor like he always did. Number 5 is going to be part 9. So part 9 is, part 9 is where he has his whole mask, and I think his mask looked pretty awesome in this one. It was all cut up, and it was gory. This is the Jason I would think of. The zombie Jason just generally looked a lot better than the regular Jasons. But part 9 Jason definitely looked really good. He looked really gory. His rib cages were showing. Yeah, I think this is the Jason you definitely think of. And this was Jason Goes to Hell. The only disappointing one about Jason Goes to Hell is when he gets taken into hell, it just doesn't look very good. And I get this is the 1980s. CGI wasn't very good at this time. But he just didn't look very good when he got taken into hell. But he did get blown into pieces. But you could definitely tell that this Jason was going to fall apart in this one. I think that's why he went to hell in this one. Because Jason, he was so beaten in this one. So he was getting a lot weaker as in this one. I think he was just a lot weaker because, his bones were showing. He's been tortured a lot. So in this one, I think that's definitely why, everything was really it was just really gory. It had a gory look. And I think that this Jason was definitely falling apart. But in part 7, which will be number 4. So number 4 is part 7. Part 7 is kind of the same concept. I don't know why part 8, he's like completely clean, completely back together. But in part 7, he had like chains around him. There's some pretty memorable kills in this one. But I think the thing I like about part 7 and part 9 is that they were just, the Jasons looked really gory. They looked really nice. And this is the Jason, these are the Jasons I like to see. These are the good Jasons, like where they just look gory and everything. They look scary. They don't just look like a guy in a hockey mask wearing a jumpsuit. They look freaking scary. And yeah, part 7 was kind of the same concept. The mask wasn't as ruined, but he was wearing chains around him. Ribcage was still showing, suit all ripped up. So these two are kind of the same in there, but I think I liked part 7 a little more. But yeah, these are the ones where Jason's kind of falling apart in these ones. Number 3 is going to be Jason X. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me with Jason X. But the thing is about Jason X is that I do get why Jason would go to space, because they were trying to remove him so they wouldn't have so many people dying at Crystal Lake. But the people in there's some pretty memorable characters. The girls were really, really tough. They were pretty strong. Also, some pretty memorable kills. Like putting that one girl in liquid nitrogen looks really nice. Like her head just, and then he smashed her face on the counter. He also looked pretty good. I liked that. I don't know what it was, but he was wearing some like weird like steel mask or something, but it still looked pretty good. I like that mask. The hockey mask was pretty memorable, but I liked this mask too. I thought it was pretty cool. I like Jason X because it was in space. There were some pretty cool kills. He also used a variety of weapons. So yeah, this is why I like Jason X. I know a lot of people didn't. It was kind of like Halloween Resurrection if you think about it. But I really did like Jason X. I just think going into the space concept really made sense to me. And I thought Jason X was pretty cool. When I watched it the first time, I was like, oh my god, this is really awesome. So yeah, Jason X. Number 2 is going to be part 5 Jason. Now, I thought his mask, the blue thing, just looked cooler than the red stripes. I don't know why. But in part 5, you learn that it's not actually Jason at the end. It's actually a guy. His son died in Crystal Lake, I think. And he tried to mock Jason by, wearing the mask, being a killer. But what I love about part 5 is that the deaths were very, very creative. If you put aside the twist and everything, and, some things that really make me mad are, you learn it's not actually Jason, and the twist where the one dude survives and stabs the girl in the stomach. Those weren't very bad. I think, part 5 was just supposed to be a different one. It's kind of like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, where they tried to change it up. It's kind of like that one. But I think it turned out a lot better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, because Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, a lot of Halloween fans were like, I want Michael Myers back, but then they brought this weird thing that they were like, what the heck, John Carpenter? But in part 5, I think it made more of a succession, because there are some pretty memorable kills in this one. Like, he tied that one guy to the tree and, his eyes gouged out. I don't know. There's just a lot of really creative deaths in this one. And, pretty creative kills in this one. And even so, it wasn't even Jason. It seemed like Chad was a pretty smart, durable character. Not as durable as Jason, but I think he just had a lot more creative deaths or kills than Jason. I keep saying deaths. Kills than Jason. That's why I like part 5. I really, really liked the kills in this one. Jason didn't look too bad. He actually looked pretty cool, pretty clean. And I believe his signature weapon was the tweezers or whatever. I don't know what you used to cut out the plants. But number 1 is going to be part 6. Part 6 is very, very awesome. The Jason looked awesome. I loved his weapon of choice, which was the spear. I really like when he turns around and, he has the spear thing when he comes out of his grave. I really, really, really liked part 6. I think the Jason in this one looked really awesome. He was really strong. And a lot of people liked part 6, and I assumed, yeah, this is a really good movie. I think it is as well. Jason just looked awesome. And yeah, you get what I mean. So that was my ranking of the Jason films. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know a lot of people are going to hate me on some of my decisions. That's okay. I get it. Some of these characters just really threw me off. One little thing just can get it so low on the list because just the stupid things that some of the directors do. But that is my opinion on the Friday the 13th films, and I promised to make this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I can get a new intro. I'm just sick of the Shockwave intro. So I hope I'll get a new intro pretty soon. So like and subscribe, guys. Hopefully we'll add some pictures. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Facebook as well. The link will always be in the description now. And I'll see you next time.